People wonder the dumbest of things. Have you ever wondered what are the problems and ongoing issues behind dark shipping and pro-fiction that makes everyone talk about it? There are no issues. You should be pro-fiction. Everyone should talk about it, but in an educational context, not a moral outrage one like what you're doing now. Dark shipping is one of the first steps to pedophilic propaganda and normalization of abuse materials around children. Dark shipping in this context is ships that would be taboo or illegal in real life, like incest or pedophilia. Here's the problem. Shipping two fictional characters, whether it be incestuous or pedophilic in nature, do not lead to the normalization of abuse material around children. It leads to the normalization of more fiction involving those, not the real world people doing those things. This is like saying violent video games normalize real life violence. No, violent video games normalize even more violent video games, not real-life violence. It's fiction. Abuse material involving children involves real children, not fictional characters. They have nothing to do with each other, and you are delusional to think otherwise. A lot of anti-shippers place the wrong blame on things. Have you ever noticed child-filled spaces like Dandy's World and Forsaken tend to get the most dark ships out of everyone else? I don't know what those two games even are, so I looked them up. They are games from Roblox. Yes, Roblox, the one game that is notorious for having loads of groomers, predators, and all sorts of content that are inappropriate for children. The developers did nothing about this problem. If anything, they made the problem worse. And you're telling me that the shippers are the problem? I don't think so. You just find shipping uncomfortable. That has nothing to do with the ongoing issues of child grooming in Roblox. I genuinely believe there are some people who use dark shipping as a coping mechanism, despite how unhealthy it is. Yeah, that's not true. Using fantasy, whether it's dark or not, as a coping mechanism against real-world issues has been demonstrably proven to be effective, and not just emotional and psychological recovery, but also an educational one, as victims view the issues through an external point of view and allowing them to understand the event and experiencing the many different emotions surrounding it. You only say it's unhealthy because you don't like it. Disliking something doesn't mean that thing is morally wrong. It just means you don't like it. There is no coincidence groomers would target child-filled spaces. Thank you, Captain Obvious. Those groomers are there because there are children there, not because those children love fiction. Predators are pretty straightforward that way. Anti-shippers just cannot separate their dislike with morality. The reason why dark shipping is not safe to do publicly is because groomers would have a much easier time playing the role as a fellow dark shipper and take on predatory behavior, since dark shippers notably tend to find this behavior as cute. This is such a backwards way of looking at things. You look at child predators using Roblox to groom children, but instead of blaming the predators, you blame the game content? Child predators are chameleons. They will use whatever children like. It can be Roblox, it can be Minecraft, it can be cartoons, it can be shipping, it can be dark shipping, it can be anything. That's how manipulative they are. What children like is not the problem. And for that matter, what you don't like is also not the problem. Stuff like dark shipping pushes out pedophilic rhetoric, which harms children. No, child predators push pedophilic rhetoric that harms children, not dark ships. How about you focus on the actual predators and their tactics instead of content you don't like? I find it hard to believe that people are still blaming fiction on things. Pro-fiction often causes harm. Yeah, the whole field of psychology would like to disagree with you on that, although this isn't the first time anti-shippers straight up dismiss science. When you write a book depicting child sexual abuse or exploitation in a positive light, who do you think is the primary audience? I know that you're gonna answer pedophiles here, but you are so wrong on that one. Child predators are not interested in fictional children. They are interested in the real ones. This has been true since their inception. When someone consumes more CSAM, it doesn't help them at all to get help for their disorder. You are correct if we're talking about real CSAM involving real children, but we are not talking about them. We are talking about fictional characters that look like children to some, but are definitely not real. Rather, it causes them to desire children more, causing them to see more hardcore material until it depicts real children. Yeah, this never happens at all. Most child predators do not start off from fiction. They just go straight to the real thing, and they use fiction to manipulate their prey. If you think that child predators have their desires reinforced by fiction, you are horrendously mistaken. They are way smarter and way more manipulative than that. Anti-shippers try so hard to get pro-shippers to admit something. It may be fictional, but let me ask you this. What about the fictional child that makes you like it? They are fictional. They are not real. That's why it's okay. It is fictional. Oh, you want me to say that we like them because they are minors? That is irrelevant. They are fictional characters. You like fictional minors. You are a terrible person, right? Did you know that I and many others also like their fictional minors going through horror, trauma, pain, suffering, dismemberment, torture, forcing them to see their loved ones die before their very eyes, giving them responsibilities that are way beyond what any minor should reasonably have, killing them in most gruesome of ways, manipulate and gaslight their friends, buying merchandise, and seeing films and series featuring them struggling to survive, witnessing their suffering for our own entertainment. But sure, chastise the people that like them sexually, but don't chastise the people that cheer when a kid gets crushed by a piano. This is such a dumb question. Let me ask you this. What about killing people in games that make you like it?
What can I say? There's nothing like the rush of hunting people down and killing them.
It is concerning how similar rhetoric is used by offenders to normalize or obscure harmful behavior. You have no idea what any of these words mean, do you? Just because child predators say the same things that dark shippers write doesn't mean those dark shippers are also child predators. They are talking about fictional characters, not real children. That dude who loves the rush of hunting people down and killing them, he's talking about killing people in Counter-Strike, not real life. He is crazy, but it's just a skit. Wake up and snap back to reality. A lot of these anti-shippers really cannot sort out their priorities. There's a very obvious sign that grooming has, in fact, gotten worse. Yes, I agree, but here you are blaming fiction on it when there's a bigger elephant in the room. It is interesting how you cited Dandy's World and Forsaken, which are two games made in Roblox. Roblox has issues with child predators that have been discussed quite a lot since last year, and it's still an ongoing problem to this day. I don't know where you got the stats from, but while I do believe that grooming has increased globally, you are pointing your fingers on the wrong thing. I am not implying every dark shipper is a pedophile. Yes, you are. Literally a couple lines ago, you implied that people like the characters because they are minors, while totally dismissing the fact that they are fictional and not real. You are saying that dark shippers are pedophiles. Own it. Seriously, the moment people start disassociating fictional consumption with real-life effects, the better and more intelligent our life and our species will be. I might not be able to convince the anti-shippers, a lot of them have already made up their minds, but I am hoping that I can at least educate the rest of you. The least that you people can do is not be like this idiot. A lot of anti-shippers are absolutely horrible to real-life people, but not to fictional characters, because they have to be protected at all costs. I hope this happens to you in real life with your real siblings. Yes, this anti-shipper just wished another person to be drugged and sexually assaulted because they dare to enjoy fiction involving those things. Imagine telling a horror movie fan, hey, I hope what happened in Terrifier happens to you in real life with your real family. Do you realize what an awful human being you must be to say that? I find it so funny that incest rape turns you guys on when you seem to forget that real people have to deal with this crap. Real people also deal with murder. Does that mean it's wrong to enjoy slasher films when people being murdered is part of the enjoyment? No, but as long as it's your favorites, it's okay because it's fiction. Yes. It is okay because it's fiction. The person bringing up real-life people in the conversation is you. Fiction influences reality, dumbass. No, it just influences your reality because you are a nutjob who can't tell the difference. I wonder how real victims feel. I wonder how the real victims of shooting feels when they see so many people playing Overwatch. I wonder how the LAPD feels when we shoot them a lot in GTA 5. Their feelings are not relevant. We're talking about fiction, not real life. A lot of people forget that fictional ideas do not always translate to reality. Weirdos go for the fiction because the real thing is a literal crime. Well, yes, there's a reason why people steal cars in GTA, not real life. The people that want to steal cars in real life will steal cars in real life. They won't go to GTA. That's not the real thing. The same thing with child predators. The fictional ones are not the same as the real thing. That's why the lowly and shotacons go to the fictional ones while the child predators go to the real thing. Focus on the latter, please. It isn't about you liking a character that happens to be a child. It's about the idea of it being a child that arouses you. The key word here is character. Therefore, fictional. They are not real, and they should not even be compared on the same level. Same with other types of problematic or criminal relationships. Since you brought up criminal, let me remind you that killing people is a crime. So I guess if you play a lot of GTA, that just means you like the idea of murdering people, right? People really overestimate what fiction can and cannot do. Fiction could normalize it enough that a rapist who maybe before would be too worried about societal consequences would end up raping because of someone's writing about doing rape. So games would normalize murder enough that would-be murder would go out and murder, right? Maybe it's not the game or the fiction that is the problem. Maybe it's the lunatic who thinks it's right to murder. People praising it make it seem okay in their mind. So the problem is the people praising fiction, not the mental case who thinks murder is okay, right? Self-harming and starving don't really hurt anyone but yourself. Rape does. Wow, you are deranged. Talking about fictional rape hurts people, but encouraging self-harm and reinforcing eating disorder to real-life people don't harm them? Seek help now. I think some people's brains are so rotted to the core and so terminally online that they genuinely forget how reality works. If I wanted to see a woman getting assaulted or abused by a male and then everyone calling it romantic or nothing serious, I would just turn on the news or something. Excuse me, did you actually watch the news? People do not treat domestic violence lightly. They do not see it as something romantic or nothing serious. Heck, even the latest fiction that I saw do not treat domestic violence lightly. So, I don't know what kind of fiction you're watching, kid. Yes, there are fiction that does romanticize sexual violence and abuse. A lot of them are read and even written by women. Seriously, how many times should I cite these TikTok ladies reading all those degenerate books? They embraced it openly, and I highly respect that. The issue is you, and plenty of other people who can't distinguish between fiction and reality. Brave for liking the average straight couple, alright. Hey, I love some vanilla couples too, but they are also about as fictional as abusive couples. It's fiction. You can tell whatever stories you like and enjoy whatever stories you like. If you can't differentiate the two, you need to seek professional help. And that's all for the video today. Here's a cat. Huge thanks to all the wonderful sponsors this week. You're all fantastic. Don't forget to check out my previous videos here. Click the like button, comment, subscribe, join the YouTube membership. Leave some tips. It's $1 down below. And thanks for watching.